Hi, my name is Shelly Manning. Today I'm going to teach you how to completely heal your arthritis in 21 days or less using nothing but simple diet and lifestyle changes. Everything I teach you is based on scientific studies from some of the most respected institutes in the world. But the real secret comes from an old mysterious woman I met in my travel in Southeast Asia. Now, imagine your arthritis completely vanishing right this moment. If in a second your pain and stiffness melted away and all your joints all of a sudden functioned like a well-oiled machine. Like a magic wand was waved, you'd be able to jump up from your chair and run around the room like a kid. And imagine that you never had to suffer as much as a pinch of arthritis, stiffness, or pain ever again. I know this sounds impossible now, but bear with me because sometimes miracles happen. And this is exactly what happened to me in a location I least expected. It was a gift from a woman on the other side of the world. From the kindness of her heart, she took pity on my suffering and taught me how to completely reverse my arthritis. This kind act was probably no big deal for the mysterious woman because arthritis is almost non-existent where she comes from. And even if people were to develop the disease, everyone would know exactly what to do. She helped hundreds of people in addition to me. Extremely quickly, it immediately worked. Easily, it required only minimal effort. Permanently, I never suffered again. Today, I want to do the same for you. I'm going to pay the gift forward, take you by the hand and lead you step by step through the 3-step strategy of 1. Relieving your pain and stiffness today. 2. Permanently ridding you of the underlying cause of your arthritis. 3. Rebuilding the damage already done to your joints. All naturally without the use of prescription medications that only make your condition worse in the long haul. Now, you may have heard there is no cure for arthritis. And this is absolutely true when it comes to the traditional medical system. But in other parts of the world, where Western medicine is not practiced, arthritis is almost non-existent. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how all this started. It's shameful, but when your husband leaves you on your 56th birthday, which also happens to be Valentine's Day, it really gets your goat, doesn't it? Should I blame him? I don't know. I guess I was not so easy to live with back then. Plus, I got my sweet revenge later, as I'll tell you in a second. You see, I met Andrew when we were both in college. Shortly after we got married, I began to develop rheumatoid arthritis. Things got worse. Carrying 2 children and being immobile due to my diseases, I added on a lot of weight in the next 10 to 15 years. That put extreme strain on my knee joints, leading to additional osteoarthritis in my early 40s. It didn't help that I worked in a small office sitting in front of a computer all day long. When every move you make feels like torture, you tend to avoid moving. This is probably the #1 mistake us who suffer from arthritis make. This is also one of the main reasons obesity is twice as common among people with arthritis than the general public. I was no exception. Sometimes when the arthritis flares were the worst, I would lie in bed for days and days. Andrew wanted to go to gatherings or take a trip, but I couldn't go with him. I remember on our 22nd wedding anniversary, we planned to go to an old famous 5-star restaurant that was on the 2nd floor. I just couldn't walk up the steps, and we ended up eating pizza down the street. This is a sad reality for a young woman in her early 50s. These were supposed to be our golden years. Many women our age dread their husbands running off with a younger, friskier woman. Well, Andrew got a friskier woman, but she was actually 2 years older than me. I was devastated. What an asshole dumping his wife of 31 years in her misery and pain. Andrew left the house immediately after telling me the grave news. He had already packed a suitcase, and I assume he drove straight over to his whore. I just sat frozen at the kitchen table in our big house. I couldn't cry, couldn't really process what was happening. And the thought that came to me over and over again was, how am I going to function on my own? The next day, I called out of work saying I was sick. I'd done that a million times due to my arthritis. But then some kind of insanity hit me. You see, I always wanted to travel to Asia, and as I was drowning my sorrow while surfing the internet, an ad popped up for a cheap last-minute flight and hotel to Hong Kong, leaving the next day. Before I could think about the pain of flying across the world, I bought the ticket and began packing. I thought it couldn't be more painful than staying in my house. I was wrong. Although I'd popped 12 of the strongest painkillers I had, I didn't sleep a wink in the small, uncomfortable airplane seats. When we finally descended in Hong Kong after 16 hours of flying, I didn't think I could walk off the plane. As if that wasn't enough, little did I know that the hotel they put me in was far away from the major tourist or business areas. I was the only Westerner in sight. It truly felt like authentic China. Now here comes the important part. How a cup of tea changed my life. After tossing and turning, trying to sleep for about 12 hours, I decided I should get some kind of refreshment. More tired than I had ever been in my life and tortured with pain, I limped out of the hotel and sat down in the first restaurant I found. Then something weird happened. An older Chinese woman came over to me, and without saying a word, she poured me a cup of her special Chinese tea. Then, before I could order, she brought me a bowl of strange-smelling soup. And as suddenly as she'd appeared, the woman disappeared without a word. Well, what else could I do other than drink the tea and eat the soup? After all, I was starving. Then the most amazing thing happened. Before I knew it, my body felt better than I could remember. For the first time in years, my joints loosened up, my pain took a coffee break, and I had energy like I was running on rocket fuel. It was like my arthritis was completely cured on the spot. As I was enjoying the last sip of the soup and my newfound freedom, the mysterious woman came up to me from behind and asked in broken English, "Now, how do you feel?" Believe me when I say, I didn't just thank her. I wanted to kiss this old woman. Her name was Janerdquo. As we began to chat, she explained what had just happened to me. You see, what I didn't know was that it was no ordinary restaurant. People from all over Hong Kong went there for a meal, but the food was actually made with specific healing ingredients depending on each person's condition. Janerdquo told me she came from a small village in southeast China. She immediately recognized my arthritis and knew exactly what ingredients to throw into her tea and soup to give me instant relief. What she told me next put me on a track toward 100% arthritis relief. You may already know that arthritis is the most common chronic disease in the Western world, more common than heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Over a third of Westerners develop arthritis at some point. But where Janerdquo comes from, nobody suffers from arthritis. Their healing herbs, lifestyle, and diet are so integrated in their society that most Western diseases don't exist. When Janerdquo moved to Hong Kong, she noticed how her and other people from her area began to develop the diseases well known in the developed world. As they developed lifestyles similar to those of the Western world, the diseases that plagued the Western world began to plague them. This is a proof that arthritis is actually caused by lifestyle rather than genetic predisposition. Janerdquo opened up her little restaurant so that her friends and neighbors could have access to their previous normal, healthy lifestyle. Over the years, her restaurant has become known in Hong Kong as a place of healing, and people all over Hong Kong and the world seek her out. She's had offers to branch out, build a huge restaurant in the center, or even move to the USA, all costs paid. She would never have to worry about money again. But true to her humbleness, she refused and stayed in her little restaurant. And then came the promise. I ate at Janerdquo's every day of my trip, and every day my pain got less and less severe. After 10 days, I wouldn't even feel like I had arthritis at all. But even more importantly, I squeezed every drop of wisdom that I could possibly get out of Janerdquo, and she was more than happy to share it with me. A couple of days before I left, she made me give her a promise. She said since there were so many people suffering like me in the USA, I should go back and teach them everything I had learned. Go and help those still suffering. She made me promise. There was just one major problem with trying to cure arthritis in the USA. Many of the ingredients and recipes Janerdquo used were native to her area, and when I got back home, I couldn't find everything I needed. So, just like Janerdquo's people, when I got back to my Western lifestyle and diet, my arthritis began to worsen again. And there began my final battle. I began to research the nutritional properties of the ingredients Janerdquo used. I spent literally thousands of hours in front of the computer analyzing different plants and herbs. And this brought me to a shocking discovery. When researching the ingredients Genertquo used and their Western counterparts, I came upon study after study that had actually tested those ingredients for arthritis, and these studies proved their amazing healing powers. But for some reason, the Western medical system has silenced these studies, so the general public does not know their results. I guess a $2,000 annual medical bill to treat each arthritis patient is a good motivator for the corrupted pharmaceutical companies. These studies furthermore strengthen my belief that everyone could cure their arthritis. Another shocking discovery was indeed how easy it is to cure arthritis. Surprisingly, I didn't need to make a huge diet or lifestyle changes to make this work. I still eat 90% of all my favorite foods. I still go to all my favorite restaurants. And I still cook all my favorite recipes, only with small adjustments. My local health food store had all the herbs I needed. Not exactly what Genertquo used, but when I understood what she was doing, I could make adjustments. And then came the big test. When I came back from Hong Kong, my friends and family were amazed by my recovery. Since many of them also suffered from arthritis, they were anxious to try out my newfound healing program. For weeks, I had a full house of people at every meal. I became somewhat of a mini Genertquo in my community, and thanks to her, almost everyone experienced the same amazing recovery that I did, very often immediately. The best part is it worked for all types of arthritis: osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, fibromyalgia, gout, and every other type of arthritis I've ever come across. Sometimes a little adjustment was needed in the strategy, but most often the exact same thing worked for everyone. But my true passion isn't cooking, it's teaching. So I decided I'd invest most of my time educating anyone with open ears on how they could do this themselves. I finally quit my job and opened up a little health consultant practice, guiding hundreds of arthritis patients on how to heal themselves. It was amazing to watch strangers crawl in one day and run on the spot a week later. Truly a blessing to be allowed to take part in their healing. Then I met Nick. Retired heart surgeon, he was quite skeptical to take advice on healing his arthritis from an office lady. But he followed my guidance to a T, and within 3 weeks he was skiing in Aspen, Colorado, something he hadn't been able to do for over 20 years. I guess he looked at me as a healing angel, and our romance began to develop. We got married within a year of our first session. And finally, my devilish, sweet revenge moment came. I didn't plan it. I hadn't even thought about my ex-husband for months. But there he was on his way to some boring meeting in New Jersey, right when Nick and I were heading out to honeymoon in Venice, Italy. I'd lost so much weight I was wearing size 4 jeans. Looking 20 years younger, shining in love, and on my way to Europe. Poor Andrew hardly recognized me. I almost felt sorry for him, hulking around like a 5,000-year-old dinosaur. Now the problem was, Nick wanted to travel all the time. And although it had been my dream my whole life to take 2 or even 20 years to explore the world, I couldn't let go of my mission to bring my arthritis knowledge to the world. It was too important. And to do that, I believed I had to keep my consulting office open. Then the real breakthrough happened. I got hooked up with the team at Blue Heron Health News. It's a publishing company with the sole mission of educating as many people as possible about natural health alternatives. These folks have helped millions of people to rid themselves of various diseases, oftentimes like arthritis, considered completely incurable by the Western world. Christian Goodman, the founder of Blue Heron Health News, begged me to bring my knowledge to the masses. With my teaching experience of the Blue Heron team and my knowledge on healing arthritis, we could create a solid strategy to beat arthritis and publish it online. Wow, what an opportunity to be able to help millions of arthritis sufferers directly. And doing that from my laptop anywhere in the world. Introducing the 21-day step-by-step arthritis strategy. It's like you've booked a daily session with me and we're sitting in my office. For 21 days, I'll take you by your hand and lead you through the exact next step to overcome your arthritis. Each day, I give you a mini step to add into your overall strategy. It may be to cut 1 ingredient of food, add in 1 type of vitamin, or do 3 minutes of specific exercises I teach. Applying only minor changes to your life, you'll experience major change in your pain and flexibility, sometimes immediately, like happened to me. The steps are backed up with the exact teachings from Genertquo, as well as 47 scientific studies from all over the world. So you can be sure this is no mumbo-jumbo. Here are just a few examples of what you'll learn in the next 21 days. The real cause of your arthritis. Trust me, it's not what you've been told by your clueless doctor. Why the drugs in your medicine cabinet aren't working, and how they may be killing you. The one word you need to add to your vocabulary if you ever want to have a chance against stubborn arthritis. What a moose taught scientists about arthritis that the Chinese knew for centuries, and how this is the clue you've been searching for. The 3 common foods that you probably eat every day out of habit that set your joints ablaze. Cut these out and watch your arthritis disappear. The one vitamin that most people with arthritis don't get enough of, and how a few doses of it can reverse your arthritis forever. A handful of vitamins that don't just work better than prescription drugs, but they might just save your life. 7 delicious superfoods that make arthritis run scared and can fight cancer, heart attacks, and diabetes to boot. Why your gut may be making your arthritis 7 times worse. And the simple fad-free tricks to get rid of excess pounds in a flash. The results of a Journal of Rheumatology study, which found that this one simple thing chopped arthritis pain in half. Simple and easy arthritis-fighting exercises with illustrations that you can do at home, even while watching TV. What nearly everyone in China does every morning, and why it prevents arthritis pain for the entire day, plus much, much more. And believe me, you're not missing anything. Everything you need to completely heal your arthritis is found in your local supermarket. Some herbs and supplements are optional, but them you can grab in any health food store. You probably already have most of this stuff in your kitchen. It's just how you use it that needs to be adjusted a little. I'll teach you this to the ounce and gram. There are no complicated recipes. You can most likely eat 90% of what you're already dining. Sometimes it's just one ingredient that needs to be cut out. I'll show you exactly how to figure that out. And the best part is that you can skip some of the steps if you don't like them and still benefit greatly. Remember, I've taught hundreds of people what I'm about to teach you. From friends and family at my kitchen table to clients coming in for private counseling. Nobody had a problem following these simple steps. You may have moments of immediate pain relief like I did, or your process could be more gradual and steady over the 21 days. Everyone experiences this process a little differently, but what I can promise you is that each day you'll feel better and better. You'll be more and more flexible, and your pain will vanish. You'll be able to walk painlessly upstairs that you could only dream about a week ago. You'll be able to sit with your children or grandchildren on the floor, throw a ball, or play cards. You'll be able to go out to places you'd avoid today with your partner and friends. And eventually, you'll be completely arthritis-free in 21 days. It doesn't matter what type of arthritis you suffer from. Just imagine yourself with your friends and family next month sitting around laughing your hearts out together, pain-free. Think of your doctor's jaw dropping when you do a few knee-ups as you run into his office the next time. He's not going to believe it. And think about all the fun things you're going to do once you're not a prisoner of arthritis pain and stiffness anymore. Go ahead, take a few moments to dream, because it's about to become true. I've shared with you how my dreams came true. Now it's time for yours. So how do you get the 21 days arthritis strategy? You'll get it right here on this website. There is no need to go to the store or wait for anything in the mail. In fact, Blue Heron Health News operates online only, bringing high-quality natural health information to people all over the world. Since there's quite a lot of time and cost involved in promoting, running, and managing an operation like this one, unfortunately we can't give the strategy away completely free. Other guides, programs, and packages from Blue Heron Health News run up to $899. So Christian asked me what I thought was a fair price. Keep in mind that a 1-hour consulting session with me used to be $60, and what you get from the arthritis strategy would take at least 10 sessions. So that's a $600 value. Not much, since the average arthritis patient's annual cost for treatment is $2,000 a year, and that's for the rest of your life. But you're not going to have to pay $2,000, $900, $600, or even $100. Why? Because although Christian suggested we'd price the arthritis strategy like most of the guides and programs they sell, I insisted that we put it at the lowest possible price. That way everyone would be able to afford it. So you can rest assured that when you click the order button below, you're getting the best value possible. And here comes the kicker. Since Blue Heron Health News is out there to help people, they don't want your money unless you get better. So if you order the 21 Days Arthritis Strategy today, and you're not 100% happy with it, just send them one email within 60 days of ordering, and they'll refund you 100% on the spot. The great reputation of Blue Heron Health News is actually the main reason I went with them. I've heard so many people recommend how helpful and responsive they are. These guys and gals are really out there to help. So click the order link below now. And if the strategy is not everything you ever hoped for, just send them one email and they'll refund you on the spot. No explanation needed. But hardly anyone asks for a refund for the 21 days arthritis strategy. Why? Because after just applying one or two things I suggest, you'll be thrilled with how your pain and stiffness vanish. You'll probably want to send me a bonus. That's, however, not the issue. The issue is that until today, your arthritis has not been your fault. No medication or traditional medical treatment exists that cures arthritis. Powerful pharmaceutical companies have hidden studies that prove how natural health methods can cure arthritis. In fact, until today, there was no way for you to know how to treat your arthritis. But now you know, and there is no turning back. Now you alone hold the responsibility for your arthritis. If you decide to suffer the pain longer or take the simple steps to completely reverse your arthritis within 21 days, starting today, the ball is in your hands and nobody else's. Because now you know there is a strategy you can follow to completely cure your arthritis in less than 21 days. It's all backed up with ancient knowledge as well as 47 scientific studies from some of the most respected universities in the world. So you have 100% proof it will work. And even if you're skeptical, at least you could try because you have nothing to lose. Click the order button below. And if it doesn't work, although you know it will, you'll get your money back. Could you really live with yourself for another day or another minute suffering from arthritis now that you know it can be cured and you did nothing? That's why you can't wait. You must act now. I'm pushing you because I want you to feel as great as I do, starting today. Thousands of arthritis patients have already benefited from this amazing strategy. They're running around the streets healthier and happier than most healthy people out there. I want you to be as happy as them. You're not alone. Everything is so simple and easy that it's like I'm sitting right beside you for 21 days, guiding you through the mini steps. That's why everybody succeeds with this strategy. And you're next. You are going to be arthritis-free within 21 days. And your first step is to click the order button below right now. Still hesitant? Remember, nobody has ever had problems finding the ingredients I recommend in their local supermarket and health food stores, no matter where in the world they lived. You probably already have most of the ingredients you need in your kitchen. You just have to use them strategically. Also, the strategy works for all types of arthritis, be it osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, fibromyalgia, gout, or any other type. So you can rest assured that it will work for you too. Finally, the risk is on us. Order now and ask for a refund if you're not 100% happy anytime within 60 days. You don't have to tell the customer service team why. They're guided to refund you no matter what. No questions asked. So click the order button below now and be pain-free within 21 days.